All right, everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and I'm hoping that this will work. I am not quite sure why the last two attempts didn't work, but we will see whether it actually connects through or not. Just to let you know that we are now trying to broadcast live with YouTube as opposed to our usual broadcast channels, and I'm hoping that this will work for us. All right. All right, so let's see what we can do here. Just getting... Ah, you did it. All right. So, Jody, did you go to the DearMamaSal page? I just want to know how you got here, because you're the only one that's got here. And by the way, is my DearMamaSal backwards? Okay, so you got a notification. Well, let's hold on then. Hopefully some other people will get here. Thank you. I tried about 3 different times, but none of it worked. Not backwards. Good. It is for me. As long as it's not for you, I'm happy. All right, so let's talk a bit more, Jody, about this perfectionism and the artwork stuff that you were talking about at lunchtime. Do you understand where the block is for you? Tell her just to re-hit it. There may be, because tell her to wait, because I actually had to redo the entry point 3 times to get it to work. But the good news is somebody got a notification. So she might get another notification, is what I'm saying. Makes sense. All right, so I was thinking about this perfectionism problem that you were talking about. And I was wondering if you can see how it's a self-discipline thing that you do. Yeah, I need to tell Pat as well. Hang on one second. Because Pat was also trying to get in. Hang on one second. Okay. Hi, Kim. Welcome. DearMamaSal and friends. So how far did you get in the other one? The funny thing is that we normally don't broadcast on here, but we're having problems with both our other platforms today. So it looks like you're going to get me on YouTube whether you want or not. Kim, where are you from? And what I had to do, Jody, and I think this was, yeah, Mercury is in retrograde. Do you know what that means, Kim? What I had to do, I think it was user error as well, though, Jody, because I had to put it into public broadcast as opposed to a private one. And I'm going to have to find out how I do that better. Never mind. We'll find out. From Illinois. Well, welcome. Do we know you through Don Semba or... Well done, Kerry. I think it was my fault. I'm glad you're not frozen anymore. Kerry, the problem was that I had to reset it a couple of times to mess you up. So meet Kim from Illinois. And just while we're waiting for people to get here, Kim, I'm just trying to find out whether you know about what we do and what we don't do, or how you know me. You must be a subscriber, I guess. Dan Semba, yeah, you see I'm wearing the right clothes today, right? And welcome. Yeah, hi, Jamie, good to see you. Okay, I guess the notifications are getting out. Yeah, I was wondering if anybody else does this thing. Don't you dare call me ma'am. But thank you for your politeness. I appreciate it. Whether anybody else falls into this trap that Jody was talking about. You know, Jody loves to paint, but she gets tied up with the fact that it's not good enough. Do any of you relate to that? And so therefore she stops herself, instead of just painting because she loves to paint, she feels, hi, Leah, I've been wanting to ask you a question, Leah. I spoke to Alice at lunchtime. So good to see you here. So, yeah. And Leah, I wanted to ask you, I believe that you started on Patreon or Patreon, however it's pronounced. So I just wondered how that's working for you. Something I always, yeah. And is it working? And if so, in what way? Just do any of you know what that is? It's a, okay, so what are they doing to help you? Let's put it that way. Because I'm certain there'll be other people that want to know about it. All right, does everybody know what Patreon is? It's a platform that helps you promote your channel, if you like, and it encourages people to become patrons. And I actually know somebody else who did it and actually did very well through it. So I just wondered how Leah is finding it. I never went that route. Have you heard of the expression MCL? They're sort of groups that help promote different channels. Anyway, that's what it is, basically. But what it does is it helps, hopefully, to get you funding. So that people... Actually, Leah, has anybody funded you yet? Because if anybody has... Huh. Why is YouTube blocking your messages? Well done. Yeah, I'm thinking I might go that route as well. So any help you can give us, I'd appreciate. You know, it's really, to me, you're talking too much. That's what you do. Yeah, that's really interesting how okay, so that's interesting. In what way, Leah? Just so that we understand, because we're a bunch of people who don't know how it works. I know that it helps get you patrons, if you like. Uh-oh. You can interact with them. Who is them? The patrons or the the man in the moon? Oh, the dreaded underwire, Kerry? If so, well, a lot of us know that problem. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm very, very happy. So you are now getting income from patrons. Yeah, I don't know that it was an underwire stabbing, but I certainly know that one myself. Well, some is better than none. All right. So what I'm saying is that you actually are already seeing benefits from doing it. Yeah, it absolutely does hurt a great deal, Kerry. I totally understand. All right. So what? Yeah, I think it's like anything new. Leah, anything new is very difficult. For example, have you seen the new warnings about what is happening in Europe and how we have to be compliant by May the 18th or something? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I got notification of that from YouTube. So, there are a lot of things that go on that, the regular viewers know nothing about, that those of us who are broadcasters. I was just saying that I went to go and get onto Tiny Chat this evening, and if you can believe it, none of us could get in, and they just charged me $85 for my channel. And it's just like, yikes, and nobody can get in, so it is what it is. And obviously we are meant to be here on YouTube and not there. Hi, son. Welcome. And son, do we know you from anywhere else? Just so that we know who you are and where you're from. I'm sitting here in southern British Columbia, and we have people here from all over the place. Yeah, I was quite surprised. We ended up with, I think we ended up with about 70 different people on the broadcast at lunchtime, which surprised me. I thought it was less, but must have been the revolving of it. They actually send me the statistics, so that was fascinating. All right, so the good news was at lunchtime we heard from those of you who weren't here at lunchtime. We heard from Alice, which was great, and great to hear about her new job. I hadn't heard about that, so that was really good. Hi, Jerry. Well, it's good to know that they can be quirky, because we're pretty quirky as well, Jerry, but good to see you again. And it didn't help that today I actually needed to sign in about 3 times before I got it right. So it might have been me that was causing the problem today. I like to take responsibility for those things. Yeah. By the way, did I hear that you guys are going to get even more snow? I'm glad your new car is working, by the way. Hi there, Nana. Good to see you. And Nana, sorry that we had to move channels again, but we were having problems yet again, and none of us could get into Tiny Chat this evening. Something, Leah? It's probably difficult to describe. It's about those of us who have viewers in Europe that we connect with. If you remind me, I will send you the link that I got. Yeah. Yeah, I got it yesterday, I think. And just so you know, we have to be compliant by, I think it's May something, 18 or something. But I'm still not quite sure what you have to be compliant in. So as soon as I find out, I'll have better information. I've actually written to people who know these things and said, could somebody explain this to me in words that I understand? So the Reader's Digest version would be really good for me. So I think it really is a case of that we're not allowed to farm emails and do stuff like that. I think that's what it is in essence. But so people have to actually say, I give you permission to be on your mailing list or whatever. Do you have a mailing list, Leah? I've never really used mine. So what I think I'm going to do is to write to everybody that is on my mailing list and just, ask them to write back and confirm that they want me there. Okay. So that probably doesn't apply to you then. Now, I found it interesting for those of you who weren't here at lunchtime. I was showing two pictures that I did this week. One was this one. And this is sort of, I don't know what your camera is showing, but this is like violets and lavender colors. And then I was also showing this other one that I really loved that I did. And this one is in bronze, black and white. I don't know if you can see the bronze. Hang on, let me try and get this angle right so that, yeah, I think you can probably see the bronze on that. And then somebody wrote to me and said that I should do giveaways of my art. And I thought, yeah, yeah, I love that one too. Yeah. To do giveaways of my art. And I'm thinking, that's nice. Let me send that around the world and see how much it's going to cost me. But I guess I could do the smaller ones, but this sort of stuff, there is no way I can give that away without feeling very sad. I think it needs to be in a coffee shop as well. I definitely think this is a macchiato to me. That's what it looks like. But it's funny, isn't it, Leah, how people think that, you should be giving everything away. Yeah. So, but I do understand that if people are enjoying those bits of art, that I should perhaps do more to promote them. And that's what I'm probably going to do in different ways. So that's good. Right. So here we go. I had a lot of feedback at lunchtime from people, and we got quite a few of the street teamers that came in. And what I think, hi there, Nana, what I want to start doing is case studies for people, where people actually phone in, or write in with an issue or talk to me during the broadcast. And then we'll take that as a case study. And then as a group, we'll talk about it, work it through, lots of options. I can see you. Yes, Nana. Do you see us? That would be, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So just every week, then you would just give something else away? You only see a bit of me? Well, I certainly would be interested. So I think I need to talk to the people and see what they recommend. But good to know that you did it. Well done, Leah. So I find it fascinating that they said you talk too much. So I just want to check the... Oh, wait a minute. Probably if you click on it again. I'm scared to touch it now in case I do the same thing. Oh, do you? Oh, sorry. Leah, are you saying that YouTube is saying you talk too much? Ah, okay. So what that is about is I need to make some of you moderators, and I don't know how to do that on YouTube. Yeah, okay, Leah, got it. That's to stop people spamming. As soon as I find out how to make people moderators on here, I will do it. Maybe that needs to be on my channel. I'll check with people who know these things. All right. So, but I appreciate the fact you've been trying to let me know what you can. I used to have that problem with when we were doing December, and the funny thing was, it was like, what do you mean I'm talking too much? It's my job. And then once they made me a moderator on it, I was fine. You know, they didn't give me a problem. Yeah, I think there are quite a few of you that need to be mods. You've been looking after me for a long time here, Kerry. All right, Nana, glad you got it fixed. And none of us really know at this point. We're all trying this out. I wanted to know what the quality is like, because the quality that I'm looking at is not as good as the quality I normally see. So, Postal, Jabin, how are you? Jabin, please tell Andrea that I quite agree with her. That was not that was not a commitment. For those of you who don't know, Jabin is sitting on the island, Nana, and he has a channel where he talks about doing barbecues, which is about to hot up again. Excuse the pun. And it was the funniest thing, because apparently he wrote a note to his wife and said he was on his way home or something. And she said, oh, good. And then something came up about a foot massage. And because he'd done it in a text, he said it's a contract now, right? Well, that's what I heard. I heard somebody say, did you crop it together? I think that's very funny. That is really funny. Yeah, it's funny, Jerry, because that's how it looks to me as well. It looks more pixelated than I'm used to. So, but maybe that's a tweak on my side that I need to check in. But you know, if I set it much higher, then other people can't get the quality. Yeah, he's an amazing man. And next time you come over this way, let's get together again, Jabin. Actually, Jabin might be able to give us the answer to that question. Jabin, did you see the notification about the European regulations? I don't know whether, you know, my concern is that I have a very high viewership from England, so, and Ireland. So for me, you know, this could be important. Yeah, there's a new regulation thing that YouTube says we have to comply with by about May the 18th or something. And it's something to do with the European regulations that we all have to comply with. Have you got that email? And if we don't, it can be very expensive. Now, it may be because I get... Okay, it may be because I have, you know, a lot of viewers from Europe, and I have Amazon links, but you do as well, right? I'm not quite sure why I was so blessed. All I know is I hate reading those things. All right, as soon as I find out, Jabin, I'll try and let you and Leah know, because I think it is important. Do you have a mailing list? Yeah, I think they singled me out. Let's see how we can mess with Sal's brain. Yeah. And we all, yeah, I have people who write to me, but not necessarily a mailing list. So yeah, I know it just gets more and more difficult. But the good news is, Jabin, one of us is going to understand it, and one of us is going to be able to explain it to the other one. But what I was thinking, Jabin, is you might want to do a live barbecue. Not of a person, of course. That would be fun to see. Okay, so Jabin, by the way, just so that you know, when did you start, Jabin? And the most amazing thing was that he got himself a contract from, first of all, a meat supplier, and then from a barbecue guy. So that was awesome. Yeah, that's the whole idea. Jabin's very happy. And so now you can support his channel big time. And I need to tell you that I have actually personally met him. We did a little meet and greet. The meat supplier ended. Oh, shame. Well, that means opportunity for another one. And by the way, Jabin, if you think about it, you're much more valuable to a meat supplier today than you were a year ago. Exactly what it says, postal barbecue. Yeah, date night. You were very brave, Jabin, I must say, and very, very gracious. But I think it's really interesting, and I don't know if any of you relate to this, but when you meet another YouTuber, it's really interesting. Hi, Emery. Good to meet you. Well done. We're not quite sure what we're talking about at the moment. Exactly. So, you're just going with the flow, Jabin. Yeah, you'll be prepared to be my plus one. Yeah. That's cute. So this is what we were discussing at lunchtime when we were here, which is that we're going to start doing some sort of case study stuff, guys, where I'm going to bring you situations that people have written to me about so that we can discuss them, because the chances are we've all got something very similar going on in our lives. And I thought, if you like, I'd give you one that came up today. All right, Jabin, good to see you. Hope to see you again soon. Just so that we can get the idea of how we can do this. Yeah. So I heard today, and it wasn't on the broadcast at lunchtime, that's why I'm going to put it up now. I heard today from somebody who's in a relationship with a girlfriend, and he's been living with her, I think, for about 18 months. And so here's the situation, if you can understand this. The girlfriend has an apartment which was paid for by the mother. No, I think the deposit was paid for by the mother, and the apartment is in the girlfriend's name. Got that? So you've got a mother who put down the deposit for an apartment for the daughter. Now, for some reason, the mother has an issue with this person who wrote to me. And she's saying that he's a guest in the house. They've been living together for 18 months. He's a guest in the house, and he shouldn't be using. Hi, Kim. Good to see you. Shouldn't be using shouldn't have his stuff in the spare bathroom. He's been living there for 18 months. So I said, this is, I don't know about the rest of you, but this is not about him. This is a discussion that the girlfriend needs to have with the mother, because he cannot get involved in this. Now, he has no leg to stand on whatsoever, except with her, the girlfriend. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I thought that you might want to give your views about this, other than being a little bit upset about it. But it's not the girlfriend is on title. She owns the place, regardless of the fact that the mother put down the deposit. And my attitude was, if she owns it, why isn't she standing up for the mother a little bit here? That was my question. And if the answer is, I don't want to upset my mother, then my attitude is, their mother needs to start treating you like an adult, not like a child. Right? So yes, if now I said, if the mother paid the deposit and had conditions, I will let you do this, but the conditions are you may not have a boyfriend there, or you may not, whatever. That's understandable. But if she said, I want to give you money so that you can have an apartment, then once that money is given, and she is the only person on title, I checked that, then what right does mommy have to decide who is a guest there and who isn't? I'm wondering whether I'm missing something here. So for all you mothers, talk to me. Yes, Kim, and that's what I said, that somebody needs to talk to mommy about excuse me. I said either that or the two of you need to move out, sell the place, and start again. I quite agree, Leah. That's what I said. Your girlfriend needs to stand up to mommy. And if girlfriend doesn't have the ability, this was my other point, if the girlfriend doesn't have the ability to stand up to mommy, then what hope has this relationship got anyway? That was my concern, even after 18 months. Do you get my drift? Because yes, I know, Nana, it's very difficult. Yeah, and that's my concern, is that if mommy still has that much power and mommy doesn't like the guy, this is bad news all the way. Yeah, it's called a boundary, right? And hopefully you taught them that. Well done, Nana. Yes, we need to be respectful, but it goes both ways. And now that and I can remember, what age did you turn around and tell your parents that you're actually grown up now? Yeah, that's what I told. That's exactly what I said, Leah. Yeah, I said, your only decision is, do you want to shut up or do you want to say something about it? But what I can tell you is you cannot fix it. It's for her to fix with mother. It's not for you to fix with mother. That's for sure. And I find that's very interesting. For example, if anything happens, some of you know that I have tenants, and even though I am, very friendly with everybody that lives downstairs. If I have an issue of any sort, I will only discuss it with the person who is my tenant, my number one tenant. That's how to win friends and influence people. You're number one now, but when I get married to your son, I'll be number one. You know, it is difficult to do, isn't it? But I think the word that Kim said is the important one. Can you do it with respect? You don't have to be nasty. You just have to go, yeah, that made it. You see, and my attitude was this: if Mummy Dearest thinks that she holds the right to control the daughter because of the money, how many of you can hear that one going on? I gave you the money, therefore you'll do what I say. Then you need to get the heck out of that place, because that's not going to go away. If that's what her mentality is. Did any of you marry people that Mummy wasn't very happy about? I did, but I just wondered if any of you had that issue. So to me, and I guess what I want to do when we're discussing things like this is to say, what advice would you give to children today, grown-up children who are having this problem? Okay, so Mummy Dearest didn't like your wedding dress, but you said, yeah, too bad. That takes courage. You had to actually stay away from your mum because she was so controlling. That's yeah, it's really important to hear these things, right? My mum totally disapproved of the man I fell in love with and came to Canada for. Totally disapproved of him. But I came anyway. Now, I hate to say this, but she probably was right. Yeah, Emery, that's funny because I said the same thing as that you two may need to go and start again. Well, I hated to admit that, Leah, but afterwards I thought about it and thought, yeah, I think she might have been right. But I needed to find that out on my own. Some of you understand that. So my concern is that we've got so many different viewers that are struggling with controlling parents or controlling. One of the viewers was telling me about somebody who is a very good friend of theirs, and every time the friend phones them, the husband says, "Put the phone down. I don't want you talking to them." How's that for controlling? And the question is, what do you do about that? And the easy answer is you get out of Dodge, right? This is not healthy. But what would you do if somebody said to you, "Put the phone down, I don't want you talking to that person"? And let's keep it polite because we're on YouTube now. Yes, that would be a very nice way to put it. And I must admit, I actually tried to do it with a sense of humor as well. When I spoke to my mom, I said, "I know this used to work really well when I was a kid. It's not working so well as an adult." Yeah, Kim, I'm sorry to hear that you were in an abusive situation. You're not the only one that that's been through that. Do I see you? I see your chat. Yes, Nana. Why do you query that? Did we not answer a question? So, do you all see that in this dynamic? Hi, Carl. Do I remember you? I'm not sure. Give me a reminder. So my question to you all is, if you were talking to a friend of yours and a boyfriend or girlfriend or somebody said, you know, really, you had dogs, Carl? 2 dogs that I remember, if I have the right person in my mind. But if somebody told you, put the phone down, I don't want you talking to that person, I know what I would say, but I wondered about you guys. I don't think my answer would be very polite, to be quite honest. But yeah, that's what I said. You had 2 dogs. So yeah, I got it. Nana, the reason it says that, it's just in case we got somebody who's spamming. As soon as I've worked out how to do it, I will make the talkers in this room mods so that it won't do it to you anymore. Well, we've been live streaming 3 times a week ever since we started. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, so Nana, don't take it personally. I was saying that when I first started doing December, it used to tell me I was talking too much, and I'm going, yeah, somebody needs to fix this. Yes, but what if the person in your life decided they didn't like that person and they didn't want you talking to them? That's good to hear, Carl. I lost mine. My German Shepherd died. Wow, 3 years ago now. Yes, that is quite true, Nana. It gets a little snot. If I can work out how to make you a moderator, it won't do it to you. It'll just allow you to talk freely. Just so that you know. But I haven't worked out how to do the moderators yet, and I will work that out. Yeah. So the thing that I'm trying to understand here is, we've been online 5 years, Nana. Why do you ask? I'm trying to make sure I understand. It's not about how long you've been online. It's about, I have to make you a moderator. It's scared that what you are is a troll causing trouble. That is why it's bringing that up. Once you're a moderator, it allows you to speak freely. Oh, we started at 10:30, August the 25th, 2012. I started the broadcast, I think, the first week of September of that year. I could be wrong. I think it was September the 9th or something. So I know it took me a couple of weeks to get brave enough to do a broadcast. And I remember it was horrific. Horrific for me because I didn't know what to expect or how to do it or anything. So yeah, it's hasn't changed a whole lot, quite honestly. All right. So do you all understand this whole issue about controlling? Could some of you let me know, did you all teach your children how to cope with controlling people? Because I think that's if you weren't taught to do that, how could you, right? If you had a controller as a parent, yeah, you'd like to think so, Leah. So maybe check that out. Yes, Nana, I can hear that you definitely tried and that they got it. But I think it's really important because it's important if you don't teach them, how are they going to know if they get a control freak as a partner? So, it's to me, it's a very important discussion because it's not just about mothers and fathers and children. It's about how would you recognize it in a partner if you didn't know what you were looking for. Yes, Emery. And that's why I want to have these little case studies and we talk about it. And it doesn't matter how big your kids are, if you haven't had that discussion with them, maybe consider it. How many of you have got friends that have been in controlling situations? How many of you are shaking your heads going, why doesn't she or he get out of that? Well, if you've never been taught about it, then yeah, but Ali is a minor. I'm thinking about adults, Nana. Well, Emery, that the point that I want to make here is that we all have these issues in different ways, right? Some of them, we have them. We have friends who have them. Yes, but at the time that it was an issue, she was still a minor, I believe. So you were right in a way to keep the heck out. No, not anymore, Nana. I understand that. No, you didn't at the time, Kerry, and that's why I'm saying I think that the point is that the reason I want to do the case studies is let's be more aware. Let's help people see this for what it is. And I think the more we can talk about it freely and openly, and none of us is perfect, none of us has the right answer. And that's why I wanted to do the case studies, because I don't know about you, but we've probably all been in a situation where somebody tried to control us. And if we don't have the words to give to ourselves, how will we have the words to give to those that we care about? It does take a long time, doesn't it, Kim? To actually realize I've got to set a boundary here. And by the way, if you can't set the boundary, get out of the line of fire. Yes, Emery, exactly that. What I want to be able to do is, what would you do if you heard of a friend, as I'm telling you now, if you heard of a friend who was going through this? I was asked, well, what do I tell her? And I said, very little, just ask her some questions. And so, in other words, if you hear this going down from the mother, ask her things like, how does that make you feel? That your mom wants to control who you have in the house. How does that make you feel? Do you feel like an adult that is, you do feel valued? Do you feel like an adult, or do you feel like a child? Yeah, I remember that, Kim. I remember you talking to me about that. And sometimes that's the safest thing you can do, is to get out of the way. Because how many of you know that even if you set a boundary, sometimes you cannot get away from a controller. They will just, they don't want to bend. They just want to keep control. Yeah. Okay, what's your language, Kerry? Because it's asking me to make a judgment as to whether I show your wording or not. Okay, so I'm just going to show it, but just be aware, Kerry, okay? I don't want us to get banned here. Yes, there is a balance. You're quite right there, Leah. And it's very important that we do that. In other words, as I said to the person who phoned me about this situation, I said, the one thing I can tell you is, do not stand between the mother and the daughter. That, that you're not going to win that battle, because it's blood, right? But I think to be able to ask those questions, how does that make you feel? How long do you think your mom's going to control you with the money? Right? Because obviously she feels she has power because she put the money down. How does that make you feel? Do you feel like you genuinely own this place, or you're being allowed to live in it? Because and I said, you can only ask the questions. And to actually show them the difference between, I had that happen in my life where somebody was controlling me with money. Have any of you had that problem? And I said no to the money and the relationship. I just said, I don't need this in my life. Take the money, be happy. I just don't want to spend the rest of my life being manipulated. Yes, they are toxic people. Yeah, Jody recognizes it as well. And yeah, Kim, and so you have to recognize it. And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, it's a family member. Yep. And Carrie said it happened too. Yes. And, you can even, I've even put down some pretty heavy boundaries. Now, the worst thing like that happened to me, or one of the worst things that happened to me, was to be told that that I couldn't go and visit my sick father until my sister got there. And you don't want to hear what I said to my sister. But the polite version of it was, last time I checked, I am his daughter, and last time I checked, I'm an adult. Therefore, I don't need your permission to go and see my father. Yeah. Well, because he was dying and she didn't want me to get control, because she had control of the money. So, this was like, I really don't need your permission to go and see my own father. And I said, I'm really sorry that you believe I do. But I'm on my way to go see him now. And by the way, when I got there, I had quite a conversation with the ICU people. I said, within about 12 hours, my sister's going to arrive. And when she does, she's going to take control. So just know it's going to happen. So if you need anything decided now, I'll do my best. But, when she comes, you're not going to be able to speak to me. And by the way, I will be leaving, which I did. Um, and they sort of said to me, why would you leave? And I said, because, I will not be consulted. I will be told. And therefore, I have no reason to be here. By the way, the interesting thing was she actually had to phone me because one decision was so difficult she didn't dare make it on her own. Yes, Kerry. And it's, for a lot of people, that is the ultimate control. So I think we would all need to be more aware of controlling behaviors and toxic people generally. Because we all have any of you ever been controlling? Or are you all perfect people? I doubt it. Yes, Kerry, but who taught you to be able to put down that boundary? You see, my point is that if you weren't taught how to do it, how do you learn it? Why don't we teach this at school? Yes, your mum taught you. Exactly. But, to me, we'd be doing children a lot better favor if we taught this in school than if we taught them, Kabul is in Afghanistan. You'll forgive me for this. To me, these sort of life skills are what I believe. And they say, oh, well, it's up to the parents to teach them. But hello, how many parents do? Hi, Mail. Welcome. Dear DearMamaSal and friends from around the world. We are discussing control freaks. Yes, and that's called, Kerry, that's know who is safe, right? You have to make that determination. Who is it in my life that is safe? And we have to be grown up enough to be able to do that. It's one of those skills you don't think about if you haven't been in this situation. Yeah. It was really funny. I had it happen even as somebody who was a guest in my house and was busy telling me what we were going to do that day. And I looked at them and I said, really? Because it was like the no consultation with me, and I was the one that was going to need to be, using my car. But this is, I've made this plan, and this is what we're going to be doing today. I just looked at them and went, really? You may want to talk to the driver of the car about that. Yeah, Emery, you're right. Right? We cannot control everything. And, I want to go back. I won't discuss it today because we'll do it on another day. But this brings me back to what is being a friend as opposed to an enabler. All right. And that's a whole discussion on itself, because we need to understand that we control a lot of things by and we go out of our way enabling people who, if we just treated them like adults, not like stupid people or children. My question at lunchtime was, how do you feel about parents who lie? By the way, Emery, I want to give you a round of applause for actually owning up to that. I know I was very controlling. I actually thought I ruled the universe for a long time. Yeah, I gave that one up. You see, Emery, and that's my point, that if we can discuss this, during these broadcasts, if we can discuss them more openly, then I think we will help teach a lot of people. I know part of what we've done here at DearMamaSal is actually taken some really basic subjects and talked around them. And even if they don't apply to you, it might apply to a friend of yours. I can remember one day working with somebody who had totally overwhelmed, but to the point of being manic. And what I did was I had a crowd of people around me at the time, and I said to them, if you are capable of being really quiet, you might learn something. But if you're not capable of not interrupting me, then please leave, because I need to be able to control this environment, because we've got somebody who is now in a very vulnerable state. And I literally talked through how you deal with somebody who's in that sort of a state, in a respectful way, and without pushing them too far, and letting them control, give them options, and helping them control their own environment. And it was very interesting because about a month later, somebody wrote to me and said, wow, I am so glad I was with you when that happened, because one of my friends went into this total overwhelmed state. And if I hadn't been there, I wouldn't have known how to help her. And I went, yeah. So I think that when we talk about these things, we not only help ourselves, but we help those around us and those we may meet. And that's why I love, to a very large extent, that's why I love the internet. You've been in overwhelm a few times. Actually, that is a subject I really should talk about, because I do have a lot of experience in terms of dealing with that. By the way, how many of you overwhelm, and what happens to you? And I asked the question at lunchtime, are there any subjects you would like me to talk around? And if so, let me know, because I'm now beginning a list so that we can do case studies on these things. Ah, bless you. Is it Retavision? I don't recognize that name. All right, so PTSD, yeah. Panic attacks. Grief and depression. Okay. Hi, Loretta. Yeah. So we will do some of those. Now, what I was saying was that I think if that works with you guys, what I will do is I will put up a notification sort of earlier in the week, or a vlog earlier in the week, to let you know we're going to be discussing this on Friday. Did they really, Kim? Doesn't that make a lot more sense to you now? Ah, don't make me cry now, Leah. Well, Leah, if you remember, I didn't treat you like a child, right? And in fact, I was trying to stop people treating you like a child, because the best way I know to help somebody in overwhelm is to get their participation and treat them like an adult, not like a child. And hopefully in that time, Leah, that you learned something as well. I've spent a lot of time working with people who are totally over the top and overwhelmed. And it taught me in some ways how to deal with that. And if you notice, I try to be fair to both sides. Well, thank you. No, PTSD has nothing to do with, well, it has something to do with the war. But Kim, did you find that you were going numb? That people would be talking and you just you couldn't understand why you weren't feeling anything? And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the notice, but Lauren is in hospital now. Yes, Kim, I didn't know what that was about. You see, I didn't know why I went numb. I do now. I've learned a lot. And you see, I think that the more we talk about these things, the more everybody learns, and the more compassionate we will all be. Yes, Kerry, I know. And it's, once you understand why that happens, you can deal with it a lot better. Well, I think to give people time to sit and think about it, but also maybe to contact your friends who you think might find some value in it. And to me, what I want to be able to do is to be able to say, okay, fine, let's talk about it. It's not about this is the only answer, but let's do a little bit of research in it. Let's see what we can find. And let's help one another. I think, I was out to dinner this week with somebody who does a lot of work with battered women, particularly in the Asian community. And it was really interesting because, I've had some experience helping in that situation. And I don't know if any of you were around at that time. I've got a feeling Kerry might have been, and maybe Leah. Were you on the broadcast where we helped that one battered woman? And we got her out of where she lived and out of the state. Oh, actually, it was the province because it was in Canada. But we got her out of the state and to a safe place within 24 hours. It was amazing. And the reason, yeah, you would remember if you were there. It was in the very early days, but I had somebody, and all the things she was telling me was she was in a very dangerous situation. And funny enough, I said, we need to get you to a halfway house, or we need to get you to a safe place. And I didn't know it was in a province that I didn't know. And I said, try the Salvation Army. And the Salvation Army came immediately and helped her. I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. So the question is, those sort of questions, like, if you had a friend who was in a battered situation, be it emotionally battered, do you know what to do? So, those sort of things are what. Yeah, I didn't know they did either, Leah, but they did. I don't know why I couldn't, because it was in some area that I knew nothing about. I just said, try the Salvation Army, because my feeling was they must deal with it quite a bit, therefore they know who to contact. And so to me, if we're not part of the solution, then we're part of the problem. And that's why I've always said that these broadcasts, to my mind, are not about just helping us, they're helping us help others, who in turn will then help others again, right? It's a ripple effect. And if we weren't taught how to set boundaries against controlling people, But by the way, I grew up with nuns in my life, so you don't mess with the nuns, and they control a great deal. So how can you possibly, make a decision? Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing, which is, to me, if we can create, I've always said this from the very time we started, if we can help each other, we also have ways of helping other people, and to be able to show them, this is not okay. I can remember that I was in a controlled relationship, and it took somebody at a dinner party to look me squarely in the eyes and say, Sal, I never had you pegged as a victim. And I said, what? And it was something about the way that they said it that I realized it was really important. And I said, seeking after knowledge, as you know, because I can be really dumb, what made you think I was a victim? And they told me. Okay, so hang on a second. That's a really good question. Hi, Darlene. How do we know you? Um, that is a really difficult one, Darlene, because again, you probably can't help her. If she is taking his side and putting you down, then what you can control. You remember the serenity prayer, Darlene? Help me control the things I can, and to let go of the ones I can't. Oh, awesome, Darlene. Good to meet you. Big hugs. Where are you from, Darlene? Give me a country or a state or something. It's May, Etta. Oh, I thought it was male. I must wear my glasses more often. Puerto Rico. Have you got You must have electricity. I'm so happy for you, Darlene. I'm sorry to say that. I think about you guys all the time. I don't know why, but what Maria did to you guys was horrific. And I am so glad that you've got electricity. Well done. All right, so hang on a second. What were we talking about? We were talking about the wrong man. Darlene, do you understand that he's not the wrong man in her eyes, just in yours? And you cannot ask her to choose between him and you, because you know what will happen. You know who she will choose. You got that, right? So one of the things that people will tell you that I talk about a great deal, Darlene, is we're only responsible for our behavior, not theirs. Yeah, exactly, Emery. Right? We're only responsible for our behavior, not theirs. So do you want to continue to treat her like a friend? Right? So, just the same as Leah is saying, that's hot chicken. What Leah is saying, have you communicated this? Have you told your friend how much this hurt you? And make sure she knows you're not asking her to change, just to let her know that this behavior is hurting. Well, yeah. But, Darlene, forgive me on this one. We need to warn you about the DearMamaSal 2x4, Darlene. Are you ready for this? We should explain it first, people. Okay. The DearMamaSal 2x4 is when I tell you a bit of the truth that you might not like. Would you want me to continue? Okay. Breathe. Make sure you're ready. And keep your sense of humor. All right? We can do this together. All right. So here's the thing. First of all, if you have told her how much this hurts you and she continues to do it, do you understand what you're dealing with? It's not going to change. So this would be like hitting your head against a brick wall. The only way that's going to stop hurting is you have to stop hurting yourself. Am I making any sense here? Are you still okay? Darlene, the second thing is I want to tell you something. Anytime anybody, I don't care who it is, tells you what you have to do, I need you to see my eyes right. And I'd like you to tell them that you don't have to do anything. You are an adult. And you may choose to or not, but you don't have to. I don't have to stop at the stop sign at the end of my street, Darlene, but I choose to because I don't like the consequences if I don't. I don't have to do a lot of things. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I choose to. So you don't have to respect her. And you don't have to respect her relationship. But if you love her, well, let me tell you, whenever you've got a question like that, Darlene, let me tell you what works really well. Imagine that I'm asking you that question. Hello, I've got this friend who's in a relationship with the wrong guy, and should I support her? Because I think you're pretty smart, Darlene. So that's because of your integrity, right? You don't want to support what you think is a wrong decision. But is that a friend? Oh, I made an assumption there. I presume that's why you'd say no. Was I correct in that? In your judgment. Not in hers. Let me ask you another question, darling. Does he make her happy? It's okay, darling. We've all been here. Don't worry. You're not alone. By the way, if this is helping any of you, spread the word, what we do here. She says he makes her happy. Now, Darlene, let me ask you another question. If you knew this friend of yours only had 6 months to live, would you want to break up this relationship? There's your answer. All right? Because you don't know that she has more than that. And if you find it impossible to support her in this relationship because you so dislike the person, then you need to get out of the way. And because Nana is absolutely right. Why is this any of your business? She's an adult. She's making a choice. Oh, Darlene, that's what we do here, honey. And you know something? Darlene, let me tell you something that's really important. When you really get this, then you will be able to help others as well. Yes. Do you see her being physically or emotionally hurt? And by the way, if she doesn't see that herself, then you can only help her so far. Yeah, and never say I told you so. Yeah. regardless if you were right. Because that's what mothers do, right? Yeah. He's married but separated. Okay. And you have a judgment about that. I can hear that you love her a great deal. You don't want to see her hurt, right? Yeah, I got there before you wrote it. Yeah, I could hear that. So, first of all, that's a good friend. So, do you want to know what I do with my friends when they're doing something that I think is insanely wrong? And by the way, I've done it. Yeah, maybe he is a good guy. I mean, look at Leah. Her husband was separated, and 22 years later, they're still together. You cannot change anybody who doesn't want to change. Very true. But what I will do is if I've got a friend of mine who's doing something that I totally disagree with, I will say, okay, it's me, and I'm going to tell you my truth. This isn't the truth. This is just my truth. I have to tell you that I see you doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm worried sick that you're going to get hurt because of my experiences and having watched other people get into this. And I don't want to see you getting hurt. So that's why I have to tell you, that's why I'm acting like a non-friend. And so now that I've said it, right. So be a friend, Darlene. Make sure she knows that whatever happens, you're still going to be her friend. It's okay for you to tell the truth. I'm worried about the fact that what he did to his ex-wife, he could do to you. But it doesn't mean he will. And the fact that he's still in contact with his ex-wife, are there children involved, in which case he should be. And so, yes, it's not for us to change that, right? It's for her to find that out. And if you are a really good friend, Darlene, you'll go, this could be really difficult and this could hurt you a lot. I just want you to know, whatever way this goes, I'll still be here for you. Right? Because you say you're a friend. Now, there are situations, Darlene, let me give you an example. If it's hurting you, all right, if it's psychologically hurting you to watch her go through this, let her know that. And tell her that you can only handle so much of it. All right? And if you're finding it difficult to watch her, I don't believe you're finding it difficult to watch her be happy, are you? It's your fear that's causing the problem. And you can tell her, what can I tell you? I am so scared you're going to get hurt. What sort of a friend am I? Yes, I always say that too, Leah. I know who my friends are when the brown sticky stuff hits the fan. The people who are still around me then are my friends. All right, Arlene, are you smiling a little bit? Now, if she is treating you like badly, that's a different. Ah, good. I'm pleased to hear it. Darlene, but if she is treating you badly, it's because you are treating her badly. Makes sense. You don't have to like him. You don't have to marry him. This is your friend. All right, Darlene, I want to give you one example that I want you to think about, and then I think it'll make sense to you. Are you ready? Another deep breath is required. That's why I'm checking. All right. So I had a really good friend of mine, said she was my best friend, all that stuff, Darlene. And I fell in love with a guy, and that required, yeah, story time. And that required that I go live at the other side of the world, actually, Jody, in Maine. So my friend said to me, if you try and do that, I will lie in front of the plane so it can't take off. How do you think I reacted to that, Darlene? Kerry knows me better. Yeah, I was a bit shocked. And so what I said to her was, boy, I always thought you were my best friend. And she said, I am. Why? And I said, because my best friend, I would have expected to want me to be happy regardless of where that took me. And I said, what you just told me is you don't want to lose me. I get that and I appreciate that. But to stop me being happy, you would lie in front of the plane so I couldn't go and be happy. That isn't the action of a friend. Do you get what I'm saying, Darlene? All right. If you can understand that, then you have your answer. Am I right? You see, the reality is it's a pleasure, honey. It's what we do. And if it's helped you, please let people know that we're here to help others. Hi, Eva. Welcome. But Eva Young, I love that. What a great name. So do you understand why there is this difference? You need to protect yourself, though, Darlene, right? If it's too hurtful for you, you may need to get out of the way. Oh, we miss you too, Leah. So good to see you. We're still doing the work, Leah. So, Darlene, what I want to do is I want to thank you. And I want to thank you because being brave enough to bring up the issue, you understand it helps a lot of people. Right? So we need to thank you for being brave enough to bring it up because that's not easy to tell that truth. And especially that when the mirror gets turned, it's not necessarily comfortable, which is why we call it the 2x4. So if ever you get in that situation, it's really quite a good idea to say, what would I do if the situation were reversed? What if I fell in love with somebody and she, my best friend, started to tell me she didn't like him? Now she has the right not to like him, right? That's everybody has the right not to like somebody else. These things happen, yeah. And so what I try and do is try and reverse it and see what would I want somebody to do for me. And what I've always heard from my friends is what they appreciate most about me, Darlene, is not that I always agreed with them. What they could count on is I would always tell them my truth. But I always said, this is your choice, your life. And if this guy makes you happy, regardless of how I feel, I'll be there for you. Ah, Darlene, don't make me cry, honey. You understand? Because that's what a friend does. A friend doesn't stop a friend from doing anything. A friend tells the truth. By the way, if one of my friends comes to me and says, "What do you think about this dress?" I'll tell them the truth. And I always start off by saying, "Are you sure you want to hear?" You know, are you sure you want to hear? Because for me, that sucks. I really don't like it. But you know, Darlene, they love me for it. They know I'm going to tell them exactly what I feel, not the polite version. My viewers know, you know, if I say to you, there's a 2x4 coming, and you know, they know what's coming, you know, a little bit of the truth, of my truth. I don't know it all, Darlene. I don't have all the right answers. Most of the answers I have are because I messed it up so much in my life. Yes, and Nana, how much do you love him for that? I mean, not always when you've just spent money on a dress you thought looked great, but you know, at least you know he's going to give you an honest opinion. He's not going to say everything is great. I've got one friend that every speech I've ever done, whenever he's in the room, tells me it's the best speech he's ever heard. The only problem is he's been doing it for 10 years. And I keep thinking to myself, there's no way every one was better than the last one. Yes, you love him and hate him, but you respect his opinion because you know he'll tell you the truth. All right, people, I need to go and live a life now. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping us help other people. And I will continue to talk, do these broadcasts, and we'll continue to do case studies, because I do believe it helps a lot of people. Maybe we'll just do one case study a week. I don't know. Good night, everyone. And thank you for the time. Spread the word so we can help more people. All right. Big hugs to you all, and we'll see you soon. Remember to look after one another. But as I always say, first of all, remember to look after yourself. Good to see you, Kim, and everybody else. Bye-bye for now.